It was a statement Sunday in Week 7 in the NFL, and the Indianapolis Colts continue to prove they are legit. That and more on today's edition of Locked On NFL.
The new Locked On NFL. The madman Tyler Rowland is your double shot of NFL espresso, with the Locked On local experts on every major story. Get ready, Rowland is revving up. The new Locked On NFL starts now. Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Football fans, welcome into the Locked On NFL podcast, bringing you a double dose of the NFL's biggest stories with help from our local experts that know your favorite teams like no one else. I am your host, the madman, Tyler Rowland, joined today by Locked On NFL expert, The Legacy, Louis DiBiase. On today's show, we are going to break down what I think was a statement Sunday in the NFL in Week 7. We're going to talk about the two top teams in the NFC West getting it done with the 49ers and the Rams. Talk about a crazy comeback from Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. But we got to start with two teams that I think made the biggest statement on Sunday. And big credit to the Indianapolis Colts, who continue to prove their legitimacy. Before we dive into all of it, I do want to thank you for making Locked On NFL your first listen. Reminder that you could follow our show and hear new episodes ad-free daily on Amazon Music. Go check that out, and thank you for being an everydayer here with us at the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code Locked On NFL and get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Louis, again, the Indianapolis Colts, no matter what you put in front of them, no matter what you serve, no matter what plate they see, they leave it clean. They absolutely handle the Los Angeles Chargers in Los Angeles, 38-24, and quite frankly, that score was a little bit closer than what I think the game actually was for most of it.
Yeah, and I've been saying every week that I think the Colts have proven they're a playoff team that has a weaker schedule and a weaker division, but nothing more than that. I don't think they're on the level of like a Buffalo Bills in the AFC, but this was kind of a statement win. The Chargers aren't, the number one team in the conference, but they were 4-2 heading into this game. A really good quarterback that Daniel Jones took down today and outperformed. 288 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, no interceptions. The Colts are legit, and they have a legit roster. They have, I think, maybe the coach of the year in Shane Steichen. If he doesn't win coach of the year, he's top 2 with somebody in the NFC we'll talk about later. So, yeah, this was kind of like the statement quality win that I've been looking for from the Colts this year. And after this performance, putting up 38 points on the Chargers, I'm kind of bought in at 6-1. It's hard not to be at this point from Indianapolis.
Yeah, I have been skeptical all along. I think a lot of
same.
people in the national conversation have been skeptical with this Colts team, but I'm with you. I'm ready to give them their credit. I think they are one of the top 2 teams in the AFC at this point, and my guy Jake Arthur from Locked On Colts, he's saying the same. It's time to give the Colts their credit here.
This game was absolutely a resume builder, but it was just another example, another question the Colts are having to answer of, is this team for real? And yes, they are for real. I don't know what they need to keep doing every week, whether they need to keep beating these reputable teams, or they need to keep kind of killing the cellar dwellers by 3-4 scores. This team is legit. Today, the NFL's leading rusher, Jonathan Taylor, had another 130 yards from scrimmage, another 3 touchdowns. The guy has 11 touchdowns now already on the season. Daniel Jones was really, really good. They got heavy receiving contributions from Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Taylor himself. They really did a great job of spreading the ball around.
And that's what they do, man. It's a collective unit for the Colts, and that's why I think it travels so well. Now, I do have a natural bias to the star players, and I wonder in the biggest moments, do they have that star player that's going to step up and do it? But for the rest of the regular season, I mean, you look at their schedule, in a month, 4 weeks from now, they play the Chiefs. And I think that'll be a real great tester game for them to do. Are they a lockdown playoff team that might get frisky, or are they legitimate Super Bowl threat if they knock? But for right now, I don't see any way that they don't absolutely skate to maybe the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Yeah, I still wonder in like a playoff game if Josh Allen is having his way with the Colts defense. Can Daniel Jones keep up in a shootout type of atmosphere? But, Jake's right. There is no reason to speculate or to not believe that this Colts team isn't built to take on the top teams in the AFC.
Right.
There's nothing this roster is missing, right? I mean, I think on defense, they're pretty much good on all three levels. They have the number one running back right now in production. They have a deep group of weapons. And Daniel Jones, like, this hasn't just one game. I mean, if it was just that first great game against a bad Miami Dolphins team, it would be different. But now it's a 7-game sample size of Jones being good. Maybe not great, but pretty good. And with a great play caller. Yeah, I don't know. Even for me, like, I don't want to say I'm eating crow, but I think Daniel Jones has proven he's consistent enough to believe that they can play with pretty much anybody in this wide open conference.
Listen, Louie, I think that just about everybody did not see this coming, the double negative there, killing me. But not very many people saw this out of the Colts. Even Colts fans. I mean, most Colts fans online were saying our season's over. Why aren't they playing Anthony Richardson? Blah, blah, blah. And look at it now. So I don't think we can beat ourselves up here for not seeing this coming from the Colts, because I don't know too many people who did. But with that in mind, I did mention that I think they're a top 2 team in the AFC. But the other team that I'm really impressed by this week is the Kansas City Chiefs, and a much lesser opponent with the Las Vegas Raiders. But boy, they are just playing such great football right now, and our guys over at Locked On Chiefs talked about that.
I gave way too much credit to one franchise out in Vegas. I did not expect this kind of total domination. What did I miss? Were there signs leading up to this that they could actually stop this team for less than 100 yards of offense and 3 total first downs?
Yeah, I missed something too, because I had the Chiefs winning this one 31-13, and I have no idea now how I thought the Raiders were going to score 13 in this one. I think this was just a motivated defense playing at its highest level, running into an offense that just doesn't have much firepower. It was missing its 2 most important pieces today. Raiders got off the bus and just could not get anything going. I mean, Chiefs owned this from the very, very beginning.
They did what a great team should do. They dominated a crap opponent. And just them firing all cylinders right now, I know it's not a win week to week, but it's clear to me, I feel pretty confident that the Colts have a chance to be an underdog here, but the Chiefs right now, if I had to play it out, I'm absolutely taking the Chiefs to get to the AFC Championship game, get to the Super Bowl. They seem like the clear favorite in the AFC still, even with the records being what they are at 4-3.
I totally agree, and it's not because they beat the Raiders by 31 today. It's because of 2 things.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes looks like an MVP finalist. I picked him to win MVP this year. He had over 300 yards of total offense today and 3 touchdowns through the air. It's that and the fact that they got Rashee Rice back, and he instantly became an elite playmaker for this football team.
Right away.
Right? With 2 touchdowns, they have Worthy, they have Hollywood Brown. This is the best and deepest group of weapons Mahomes has had in quite some time. So you combine those 2 things, it's less about just this win in a vacuum, but how they've been playing efficient offense the last couple weeks, and now they add an elite weapon like Rice. I'm with you. I think even at 4-3, the Chiefs are... It's crazy, but they're back. Everybody wanted to say they're dead in the water, but they're probably the team to beat in the AFC again.
100%. And the AFC doesn't look great this year, which does give the team like the Colts and give a team like the Chiefs a better chance. But hey, the Chiefs aren't at the top of their division right now, and that has to do with an insane comeback, one of the most wild, insane, miraculous comebacks that you are ever going to see from the Denver Broncos. We'll head to Mile High and talk about it. It's Locked On NFL, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Do want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Rippling. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS, that's SAD. Software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance, all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. By uniting your employees, teams, and departments in one system, Rippling removes the bottlenecks, busy work, and silos your software created. And right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNFL. Learn more at rippling.com/LockedOnNFL. That's rippling.com/LockedOnNFL for 6 months free. Terms and conditions do apply. Today's episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks. Every day we make decisions, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Playing Prize Picks is such a fun, simple way to add more excitement to football. You just pick more or less on player projections like Josh Allen passing yards, Saquon Barkley rushing touchdowns, and you're in the game. I love how quick it is. You can make a lineup in under a minute, and they have a new feature called Injury Reboot, where if your player leaves early and doesn't return, it won't count against you. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. It's Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, Louie, let's continue today's edition of Locked On NFL, recapping a wild Week 7. In the wildest game of the entire weekend was the Denver Broncos' historic comeback against the New York Giants. It was ugly for 3 quarters in this game, but then the Broncos do the unexpected, and my guy Cody Roark from Locked On Broncos talked about the crazy comeback win.
A mile-high thriller here as the Denver Broncos score 33 points in the fourth quarter to beat the New York Giants. Just when victory was snatched away from them initially after Jaxson scored a touchdown, the Broncos and Bo Nix marched down the field with a couple of big plays to set up a 39-yard game-winning field goal from Will Lutz. What an electrifying game here as the stadium erupted as Courtland Sutton hauled in a huge back shoulder catch, and Bo Nix in the offense, they ran downfield. They spiked it with 2 seconds left here. The Broncos had a lot of questions in this game, and it was looking disastrous for 3 quarters, going down 19-0 initially here. But Bo Nix in the offense, they found some rhythm. They snatched defeat from the jaws of victory at this point. Yes, play on words right there here. What a comeback for the Denver Broncos. Make sure you tune in to Locked On Broncos for more.
I heard a stat while watching that game, Louie, that there had been teams that were up 18 points with 6 minutes left in a game. 1,602 straight victories in those circumstances. This is truly one of the most miraculous comebacks we've ever seen. And I think the Broncos made a statement that it may not be perfect for them this year, but they are a team that truly will never quit. And they are a bad penalty against the Colts in week 2 away from being 6-1 themselves.
Yeah, and obviously it's not practical or realistic to believe a team can ever consistently come back like this, where they put up 33 points in a single quarter and pull out a back-and-forth game like that where Dart scores what seems like the go-ahead touchdown. They drive down the field and get a field goal right away. But why it was almost kind of good for Denver to get this kind of win under their belt, even against a Giants football team that's obviously not great in 2025 and has a lot of things to improve on in the future, is that they have, to me, one of the top 5 best defenses in the NFL. So they're not going to have to win a lot of games like this. But to see Bo Nix and the passing game kind of have to play from behind and play catch up, to know that they can do that and put up this kind of offensive spurt in a single quarter, I think is really important for them. And they've already been getting some impressive wins, like against the Eagles, for instance, in other ways. So this is a really important kind of win, I think, for the Denver Broncos. Again, can't expect to make a 30-point comeback every single week, but I mean, what an incredible comeback. It's one of the craziest games I've probably ever seen.
For me, it's just banked confidence of we can win in different ways. We can win this way. And the way they came back on the Eagles, coming back in this game, that just gives confidence to a team that no matter what the situation, we're never out of it. And that sort of belief can really carry you when times get hard later in the season. For the Giants side, I didn't really want to linger there more. Jaxson Dart looks like a player, and they may lose games like this because they're a young team this year, but it looks like they do have some things to build on. So good for the Giants there, even if it's a moral victory moving forward. But a team that didn't need a moral victory per se, but there was definitely some emotion on the line, was the New England Patriots, who go into Tennessee. And again, Tennessee, not an opponent that impresses you, but what the Patriots have done over the last month as a total picture has been impressive. And that's something my guy Nick Cattles from Locked On Patriots talked about after that win.
For the first time in franchise history, the Patriots win 3 straight regular season games on the road by beating the Tennessee Titans. Jekyll and Hyde performance from the defense. We're going to dive into that during the postgame. Also, Drake May was unbelievable again in some big-time plays from the receivers. But Mike Vrabel, he gets his revenge down in Tennessee. Patriots dominate 31-13. Make sure you jump over on the YouTube channel, Locked On Patriots, as we have this thing covered in the postgame. We'll talk to you then.
Like the Chiefs, no, beating the Titans like this isn't that impressive just in a vacuum. But again, 3 straight road wins, 4 straight wins, moving to 5-2, handling their business as they should when a lot of teams could lay down and make it closer, not come with the intensity after going down early. They're down 10-3, they're down 13-10, and it just didn't deter them at all. They're a buzzsaw. And Mike Vrabel has them playing great football. I think the Patriots announced themselves as a serious threat in the AFC this weekend, even if I don't have them on the level of, say, the Colts or the Chiefs.
Yeah, and it's kind of a similar argument for the Colts in New England where, the schedule obviously is helping them get to a 5-2 record, but they do have a quality win already under their belt, taking down Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, a couple weeks ago. So they already proved that they can play with the best of the best.
Exactly.
Drake May is playing like one of the best of the best. I mean,
MVP level, man. He was insane in this game.
Absolutely. 222 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 62 yards on the ground. So they have a quality win. They have an elite quarterback right now. And guess what? The schedule is not going to get much harder for them. Like, this is the reality of the NFL where every year there's a couple teams. Last year it was Denver and Washington that take advantage of a last or second last place schedule. And until the playoffs, they might not have to win all these against juggernaut opponents. So I think the Patriots are one of those teams this year. I thought it might be the Jets in the AFC East. Clearly, I was wrong, but it was somebody in the East, and it's clearly New England.
Yeah, 1-5 Browns, 0-6 Jets 2 more times, 2-4 Bengals, the 1-5 Ravens, who may be more improved when they get Lamar back and have a chance to play some better football for themselves. The Dolphins at 1-5 still on the schedule. I mean, they're not going to have a difficult stretch, but if they could continue to handle their business and not play with their food like they did with Tennessee, sky is the limit for this team again in a wide open AFC. But moving out of the AFC, we move to the NFC, and probably the best team in the NFC still, in my mind, is Louis' Philadelphia Eagles, who handle business. The Vikings were coming off a bye. We know the Vikings are a well-coached team with some good talent. It wasn't a wash or anything like that, but I thought some things for Philly, especially the passing game, really got back on track in this game.
Yeah, Tyler, I called it a gut check game during this week of shows because they're kind of on the brink of like, okay, who are you going to be? At 4-2, you've lost 2 straight games. The offense has been so Jekyll and Hyde this season. Are you going to be the 2023 Eagles that completely collapsed down the stretch and couldn't overcome a lot of the issues that even when they were winning, you knew was eventually going to catch up to them, right? And then in 2024, after you lose 2 straight games in the month of September at 2-2, you were wondering if that collapse was going to happen again. Instead, they rattle off 10 straight wins. So at 4-2, it's like, are you going to lose a 3rd straight game to Carson Wentz, the former face of your franchise, and all hell is going to break loose in Philadelphia, which we know is going to happen? Or are you like in 2024, are you going to overcome it? And they absolutely overcame it because of their quarterback. Jalen Hurts, a perfect passer rating today. Only the 3rd quarterback in Eagles history to do that. Over 300 passing yards, 3 deep passing touchdowns, and that perfect passer rating. No turnovers. To know Jalen can still do that in like the biggest moments, is he going to do that every week? No, but he always does it, it feels like, when he has to. And that's such a crucial, undervalued trait in a quarterback, and it's why he's a champion. And so I think that was a really important kind of game to win. They just got to find a way to get this run game back on track because the offensive line's banged up, and Saquon definitely does not look the same as last year, but the passing game carried them today, and man, did they need it.
Yeah, they needed to know that they had that in the bag as well. And especially against a good defense that will bring pressure and do things like the Vikings defense. I think that's an important box to check as Philly kind of gets their confidence back.
It was a big checklist game for the NFL, checklist week, where a lot of teams are like, okay, we got this kind of win under our belt. We did this, and we needed to see that in order to have confidence moving forward. Like the Eagles, the Colts, the Patriots. I think a lot of teams kind of had that this week, and Philly was one of them for sure.
Yeah, a lot of them were, hey, if you're actually a good team, you need to do this.
Yes.
And a lot of these teams that we're talking about made the statement and did that. And one of the teams that did that, we're going to stay in the NFC here, was the Los Angeles Rams, who absolutely rolled the Jacksonville Jaguars. But wouldn't you know it, the banged-up San Francisco 49ers, they said, we'll match. Do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Awards than anyone else as of August 2025. Whether it be footwork to breath work, our favorite athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings the same attention to how they craft every model. You can feel the Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to the available Napa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but. From smooth handling to intuitive controls, with all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. As I always tell you guys, I have a Mazda CX-5 at home. Absolutely love it, and I know that you will love a Mazda too. Like our favorite players, Mazda sweats every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. It's Mazda. Move and be moved. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. The NFL season is obviously here, and FanDuel still has an offer that you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel, whether it's player props, money lines, over-unders, spreads, putting all that stuff together for a same-game parlay. Even if I miss kickoff, I can get in on the action with some live betting. It makes football even more exciting when you got a little something riding on it. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Once again, that's FanDuel.com. All right, Louis, let's cap off today's edition of Locked On NFL. We talked about some teams in the AFC holding it down and making a big statement. The Eagles, still the reigning champ in the NFL and in the NFC, making their own statement against the Vikings. But I thought the NFC West came out and continued to make a statement as well. Both the top teams, the 49ers and the Rams, get big wins. The Seahawks still playing great football as well, nipping at their heels. But we do start with the Rams, who kicked off Sunday at 9:30 in the morning and absolutely dismantled the Jacksonville Jaguars 35-7. And the Jags are a conversation all on their own. But no matter what happens with the Rams, they're a team that showed, hey, we have enough. Like, if we just play our best football, we have enough. And that's mostly led by Matthew Stafford. And our guys over at Locked On Rams think that after this performance by Stafford, it's clear the Rams need to be all in as long as they have him.
Just as long as number 9 can still do what he's been able to do, I think you shoot your shot. I think you go and spend whatever draft capital you have and try to get one more of these with him on your team. Because look, let's just put the cards on the table. The odds of the next Rams quarterback being as good as Matthew Stafford are virtually zero. They're virtually zero. Okay. Like, look, even if you pick at the top of the draft, the odds, Matthew Stafford is 9th all time in passing yardage. You're not drafting a guy that's better than this.
I mean, that is an incredible point by Travis. And the Rams are a team that's known that when they have a chance, they will go all in. even with Puka injured, they still absolutely roll. So the Rams once again made a statement that like, hey, we're not going anywhere, even though we've had some weird losses and some kicking gaffes. Like we're 5-2 and we're still one of the best teams in the NFC.
Yeah, the Rams could easily be undefeated this year. I mean, you look at the Eagles game, for instance, where they pulled off that kind of 19-point comeback in the second half.
Right.
The Rams were dominating Philadelphia. And Matt Stafford, I think, I mean, he nailed it. This is one of the most underrated quarterbacks of this era, of this generation. Yes. And he's putting up the numbers. He has the ring. I mean, 5 touchdowns today, right? I mean, Devontae Adams has 3 without Puka Nacua. Really impressive. And that defense is legitimate too. I mean, the Jaguars are a team I just have no idea who they are every single week. So I don't know how impressive of a quality of opponent that is. But for the Rams, like, this isn't surprising at all. And I still believe, I said it heading into the season, they were the second best team in the NFC behind the Eagles. I'll still stand by that. I mean, this is a team that's ready to make a Super Bowl run for sure. And that's impressive because it felt like after 2021 that window kind of closed, but with really good drafting and Stafford not regressing, like they've been able to kind of reopen that window.
100%. They got Puka to be a star wide receiver
Which was
for him.
huge too,
They replaced all the talent on the defensive line, and now they have Jared Verse, another dominant guy like they had with Aaron Donald, and they build off of him. Like, they have everything that you need, and I think they're looking for help in the secondary. I think is where they're looking for help, and I think it would be smart for them to go out and make a move there and try to get some help, because I agree with Travis. They should go all in, but the 49ers are making it tough on them, man. The 49ers won't die. They lose all their best players. It doesn't even matter because they still have a couple of really good players, including Christian McCaffrey, who had 200 total yards and 2 touchdowns, and my guy Brian Peacock from Locked On 49ers talked about the big-time win.
The San Francisco 49ers get their mojo back on Sunday Night Football in a 20-10 win against the Atlanta Falcons. Hey, everybody, I'm Brian Peacock here of Locked On 49ers, and it's hard not to take away anything other than the San Francisco 49ers completely outcoached the Atlanta Falcons in this football game. This is an undermanned Niners team with the backup quarterback, their 2 best defensive players out of the game, yet they nearly shut down Bijan Robinson. He got a lot of touches, and there were some yardage there. He did get into the end zone, but he was not a problem for the San Francisco 49ers, and Michael Penix was actually a problem for the Atlanta Falcons with how bad Robert Saleh's defense made him look in this football game. He looked like a second division player against these San Francisco 49ers who got back their mojo. They got back to doing what they do with the return of George Kittle, bully ball up front, and a vintage night from Christian McCaffrey. Welcome back, George Kittle. Welcome back this version of Kyle Shanahan's San Francisco 49ers.
I mean, you just can't kill him. You get, Warner out of there, replace him with Bethune. He's awesome. You lose Nick Bosa, replace him with Bryce Huff. He's awesome. Like, the 49ers might be another team that might be going all in this year, might look for some help as well, because even with what they have, Kyle Shanahan is still good enough to lead them to a playoff performance. And, I mean, who can doubt him once they get in?
They're just so well coached, and that's the thing.
Yes.
I mean, how many teams can lose this many core pieces of both their offense, their defense, like stars, faces of the franchise? And I mean, losing their quarterback, top weapons at times, pass rushers, maybe the best inside linebacker in football, and be 5-2.
Yes.
Like, yeah, they have, one of the easier schedules in the NFL, but they've beaten the Falcons, which is a good football team that I predicted to make the playoffs. They beat the Rams not that long ago. Like,
that's a quality
They have
win.
the quality win. So San Francisco, I said Shane Steichen might be the coach of the year. The reason I didn't want to say that officially is because Kyle Shanahan might have that title right now. And Robert Saleh, too, adding him back to this defense, that's been able to help them overcome these injuries. Like, Bryce Huff was a healthy scratch for the Eagles in the Super Bowl last year after signing this huge contract. Comes back to the Niners, reunites with Saleh where he was with the Jets before, and he gets right back to being that elite, efficient pass rusher situationally that he was in New York. So they are such a well-coached team on both sides that they can kind of plug and play guys and be okay and survive until, like you said, they probably have to add some, reinforcements if they want to make a true run.
A combination for coaching next year. I think Saleh will get interviews again after what he's doing with this team. And Mike McDaniel is going to be fired by the Dolphins. And there's obviously the San Francisco connection there for those guys. I think that would be a pretty nice pairing for a team next year with Saleh as the head coach and McDaniel as the offensive coordinator. So keep an eye on that. But they made the great point of the Falcons getting out-coached. Bijan did get the ball a lot, and he was basically their only weapon, but it was a concerning performance for the Jekyll and Hyde Falcons, who you just never know what you're going to get. And my guy Aaron Freeman from Locked On Falcons talked about that.
It was another road letdown for the Atlanta Falcons in a 2010 loss to the 49ers on Sunday Night Football. It was another slow offensive start for the Falcons offense on the road, been a habit of theirs this season, and that allowed the 49ers to have their get-right game against as a running team going up against what is entering this week the second worst run defense in the NFL, and it got exposed in this game. After Bijan Robinson was dominant the first 6 weeks, it was Christian McCaffrey that showed why he's still the master and Bijan's just a student, as he was the star running back that shined in this Sunday night matchup. 129 rushing yards for McCaffrey, 72 receiving, 2 touchdowns. And the Falcons are going to have to look to regroup at home next week against the Miami Dolphins. And then they're going to have to face 2 more tough road tests the following weeks against New England and then heading to Germany to face the Indianapolis Colts. To see how the Falcons regroup, make sure you follow Locked On Falcons, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We've talked about making statements the entire show, and I think the Falcons made a statement that they aren't a team that you could take seriously, especially on the road. Like, they're just going to be up and down all the time, and it's just about kind of the momentum with them. They don't seem like a team that's going to be consistent at all.
No, in an NFC right now that's really loaded in that second and third tier. My playoff pick for Atlanta, I'm not feeling as great about that. There are times they look dominant, like last week against the Bills, but you're right. It's just too Jekyll and Hyde. There's just more consistent teams in the NFC right now. I like Atlanta's talent, but I think they're still a little bit too young and definitely too inconsistent.
Yeah, and a team that's been pretty consistent over the last 4 weeks, getting 4 straight W's, is a team like the Chicago Bears. They moved to 4-2 on the season, 26-14 over the Saints. The Browns roll over the Dolphins. The Dolphins have quit. Tua got benched at the end, 31-6. Browns. The Panthers win an ugly game against the Jets. Aaron Glenn might be one and done. It's so bad there. Justin Fields gets hurt. They're 13-6, Panthers over Jets. The Cowboys' offense is just absolutely out of control, 44-22 over the Commanders. The Packers come back and win, probably a little too close for comfort for Green Bay, but they beat the Cardinals 27-23. Out of any of those games that we saw on Sunday, the only one that stood out to me really was the Bears. Like I mentioned, 4 in a row. I think Ben Johnson is getting some proof of concept wins that are really binding to the locker room. He's a bit cantankerous. Like, you can tell that he can kind of rub people the wrong way, and he's a bit feisty, which I identify with quite a bit. I like it, Ben Johnson. Get feisty. Let people know. But when you win, and you win early in the year like this, you buy currency with your players to be hard on them because you've shown that it can work. So that's really the only game out of those that stood out to me.
For me, it's the Cowboys win because Dak Prescott looks like an MVP candidate right now. 264 yards, another 3 touchdown performance through the air. They've put up at least 37 points in 4 games already this season. They've had 3 40-point performances. Like, their defense is not going to allow them to compete for a championship, I think, this year. But what Dak Prescott is doing, and with CeeDee Lamb coming back, like, it's pretty unbelievable. And they're dangerous. If they're a team that sneaks into the playoffs, they can put up points with anybody, and they're kind of like last year's version of the Bengals, where Joe Burrow's having an MVP season on a kind of mid roster, but that's kind of what you're.
Defense.
Yeah, I hate to give the Cowboys their props, but I think I got to do it.
Yeah, you got to. They're playing too dominant on the offensive side of the ball. It's crazy. They're a buzzsaw. It's almost like maybe they should have kept Michael Parsons. I don't know. That probably would have helped the defense, and they might be right there up with some serious contenders at this point in time because Michael Parsons had his career high 3 sacks. Against the Cardinals and was pretty dominant for the Packers, helping them get back in that game and win that one. So pretty interesting there. But a wild week 7 in the NFL. That's our recap of that. We'll be back tomorrow. We got 2 Monday Night Football games again. Not certain how we'll break that down, but we will be here in some capacity to make sure that we go through it all with you guys. But that's going to do it for today's edition of Locked On NFL. I am your host, the Madman Tyler Rowland, for my co-host, the Legacy, Louis DiBiase. As we tell you every episode, thanks for tuning in, and stay safe out there.